Karen said my dog didn't belong in her neighborhood. She called him a threat, said his breed was scary, and tried to report us to animal control. But when that didn't work, she crossed the line and poisoned his water bowl in the dead of night. What she didn't know was that our new security camera caught everything, and within days, she went from HOA president to inmate. If you're tired of entitled people getting away with cruelty, hit that subscribe button. And tell us where you're rewatching from. We shout out our viewers around the world in every upload. When I first moved into Briar Creek Estates with my golden retriever Duke, I thought we'd found paradise. The homes were beautiful, the sidewalks quiet, and the trees lined every corner like it came straight out of a real estate dream.
Ow.
Duke was my partner, my best friend, and my literal lifeline, not just emotionally, but legally. I'm a veteran, and Duke was a certified service animal, trained to detect anxiety attacks, wake me from night terrors, and even fetch my medication. He was calm, loyal, and had been by my side since deployment ended. My wife, Emily, and I bought a small home at the end of a cul-de-sac, perfect for peace, recovery, and privacy. But we didn't account for Karen. On our third day there, she showed up with a tight bun, pastel pantsuit, and the infamous HOA clipboard. "We have rules here," she said before even saying her name. "Big dogs like that scare the kids." I politely told her Duke was a registered service animal. Her eyes narrowed. Still, she said, "There's a look we maintain in this neighborhood. You understand?" I didn't respond. That was my first mistake. Over the following weeks, the complaints began to roll in. First, they were ridiculous. Dog barked at 6:30 a.m. Dog left fur on sidewalk. Dog looked aggressive through the fence. Karen began to escalate. She mailed us printed photos of Duke standing in our yard with captions like "danger." And this shouldn't be allowed. Emily and I laughed at first. But then Karen filed a formal complaint with the HOA board to have Duke banned from the property. At the hearing, I provided documentation. Duke's registration, medical necessity, legal protections under the ADA, and the board voted unanimously in our favor. Karen was furious. "This isn't over," she said to my wife as we walked out. She made good on that promise. Suddenly, strange things started happening.
Ow.
Our trash cans were tipped over. Still, we had no proof and no real enemy. Just suspicion. Then one Saturday morning, Duke started vomiting violently. I rushed him to the emergency vet, panicking. Diagnosis: poisoning, traces of antifreeze and meat fat. Someone had deliberately laced his water or food. I was shaking with rage. Emily was in tears. Duke survived, barely. But the vet said another dose like that, and we might not be so lucky. That's when I installed the camera. Top of the line, infrared, motion activated, hidden inside our bird feeder facing the backyard. A week passed with nothing. But then, 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, there she was. Karen, in a hooded jacket, tiptoeing across our lawn. She reached over the fence, pulled out a small container, and poured something into Duke's water bowl. My stomach dropped, paused the footage, zoomed in, and saw the same stainless steel thermos she often carried at board meetings. The next morning, I checked the bowl. It smelled off. I took it straight to the vet and asked them to run a test. Results: ethylene glycol, antifreeze. Again, that night I called a lawyer. The next day, I called the police. When officers saw the footage, they were stunned. "You want to press charges?" one asked. I didn't hesitate. Karen was arrested at her home the next morning. She screamed, accused me of framing her, and cried about how her reputation would be ruined. She had no idea the arrest was recorded and shared to the neighborhood group chat by a neighbor filming from their Ring camera. Within hours, the entire block saw it. Karen in handcuffs, yelling about lying dogs and traitors. The comments were brutal and deserved. She tried to kill a service dog. "That's sick. My kids love Duke. How dare she?" She always seemed off, but this. Karen's HOA reign crumbled overnight. And this was only the beginning of her downfall. The arrest of Karen was just the beginning of a long and painful reckoning that rippled through our entire neighborhood and lives. Once the shocking security footage went viral in our community, neighbors who had been silent or hesitant began to come forward, sharing stories of Karen's ongoing harassment, tales of petty cruelty, personal vendettas, and small acts of sabotage that, taken together, painted a portrait of a woman desperate to control everyone around her, no matter the cost. The HOA board quickly convened an emergency session, and with mounting pressure, they unanimously voted to remove Karen as president and bar her from any HOA activities, meetings, or official communications indefinitely. The shift in the neighborhood dynamic was palpable. People who had once followed Karen now actively distanced themselves, refusing to answer her calls or reply to texts, and many neighbors stopped acknowledging her presence entirely, as if erasing her from the community. The well-manicured garden she once proudly tended became overgrown and untended, mirroring the decay of her social standing. Meanwhile, Emily and I found a bittersweet healing in the solidarity of our neighbors. Many came by with gifts for Duke, heartfelt apologies, and offers of friendship. Their kindness a balm after weeks of isolation and whispered rumors. The police pursued criminal charges against Karen for animal cruelty, a serious offense that carried the possibility of jail time. And the legal battles dragged on. Each hearing and court date a testament to how far Karen's vendetta had gone beyond HOA politics into criminal acts. The settlement we eventually received from her lawsuit allowed us to create a foundation dedicated to helping abused and neglected animals, tribute to Duke's resilience, and an effort to make positive change from our trauma. Public opinion firmly sided with us. The narrative was no longer about petty HOA squabbles, but about justice for a defenseless service dog and his family. Every time we walked Duke through the neighborhood, warm smiles and friendly waves replaced the cold shoulders and suspicious stares. We endured. Our family became a symbol of standing strong against bullying and entitlement. Karen's fate was sealed not just by the law, but by the community's collective judgment. Her reputation irreparably tarnished. Her freedom threatened by criminal prosecution, and her isolation complete. No longer the queen of the HOA, she was reduced to a cautionary tale whispered behind closed doors. A stark warning of what happens when power is wielded with cruelty and arrogance. Meanwhile, our family grew stronger, bound by the struggle and the victory. Reminded daily that truth and courage can outlast even the darkest intentions. Duke recovered, though he never fully forgot the trauma. His spirit remained unbroken, a living testament to resilience and the power of love. Karen tried to destroy us, almost succeeded, but in the end, her own poisonous actions destroyed her. Our story continues, inspiring others who face similar battles to hold fast. Fight back, and never let anyone's cruelty define their lives.